Right.
my podcast too. So I have a Serenity Strong podcast. Just kind of easy to have my coaching name, because then if anybody Googles it, it's just an easy way to find all the stuff. And I go back and forth on that, because I'll have people that tell me they like my podcast, but when I go to do it, it's like I'm my own worst enemy. I'm like, oh, people aren't gonna want to listen to like you just talk about random shit or whatever comes to your mind. But then, like a week later, somebody will be like, hey, I listened to this podcast, and I'm like, I haven't even talked about my podcast. Like, it's just kind of random found it.
Yeah.
So I would say with the future of my podcast is to, get my glutes back in gear and releasing a podcast once a week, and getting, more guests on, and not even guests that are like, people that are well known, just people who have a story and have, some way that they can inspire somebody with whatever they're
Mm-hmm.
going through, or what they have to share.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Right.
nice to obviously have sometimes people who are well known, but I think a lot of the times people who have a story, people can connect with them a lot more often, or just because you feel like it's not to like, put it in a general thing, but people who have a story are maybe more like the average Joe versus the person that's super well known that
Mhm.
people, it's harder to relate to. People at least think so. So like for a lot of the people who aren't as well known, can be very helpful for listeners just to, relate to and whatnot.